Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This time around, we're taking a look at probably one of my favorite intellectual properties, and that is, King's Quest. Now, this is King's Quest. It came out this year. It's published by the Odd Gentleman, and for those of you who aren't familiar, it's an adventure game. It comes from a very long line of adventure games from Sierra. So we're just going to go ahead and dive straight into the game. We're going to start, of course, with Chapter 1, A Night to Remember. All right. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. Graham's just walking down this thorny, dark passage. And we got here a well. All right, I first of all, I have to say, I've already played this a little bit of the game. The art style is very cool, I find. It's sort of in keeping with the tone of the series, and I think that that's pretty good. So now we're going to go ahead, get this up, and let's just check out what's in the well. I also really love the fact that this game has just a cold start, and you just get placed into the game very, very quickly.
I had not been back there in years, but it was the last place left to look.
Oh, for those of you who don't, or at least recognize the voice but can't quite figure it out, that is Christopher Lloyd, who is doing the narration. And, of course, the amazing thing about having someone like Christopher Lloyd...
It was not exactly as I remembered it, but it wasn't all that different either.
It's a cave. Yeah, of course. As I was saying, though, the benefit of having Christopher Lloyd is that, you know, for those of you who watched all the classic Hollywood movies, he's such a recognizable voice, and it sort of lends that to this game. So you sort of, you know, figure out that that you've heard this person before. And that's what this game really should feel like, is that you're visiting something familiar.
Two odd contraptions guarded the lost treasure. I would have to turn one and see what happened.
Let's see. Should I pick the switch that has a bed that's obviously crushed an individual? Or should I pick the one that doesn't? I think I'm going to take this one. Voila, and no death. But, just to prove a point and show you how the death mechanic works in this game, I'm just going to go ahead and touch this as well.
And that's what would have happened if I turned the left switch. But since I am here telling this story, you already know that I pulled the right one.
So, I mean, for those of you who might be put off by something like that, I don't think you should worry about it. It often does not give away, when you die, the solution to the puzzle. This is just... It's pretty much just the beginning of the game, so you're not supposed to be stumped at any rate. But it sort of like introduces you to the fact that if you do die... Oh, if you do die, you have another chance. Oh, look at all this crap. Oh, let's actually take a look.
Buckets, barrels, Butter churns and beds were jammed into every nook and cranny of that cave. It all seems so familiar.
Goddamn right it seemed all familiar. Let's go over here.
Even though the bed was very comfortable, this was no time to hide under the covers.
This is
Wait. Hold on, Grandpa. I don't remember this part of the story. Beds hanging from stalactites?
We'll get there, Gwendolyn. Don't worry. No detail in this story will be overlooked. Now, where was I? Ah, yes. As I treaded through the river of rumbling trundles, I feared I knew the source of that deafening wind.
So it's kind of cool because new elements are introduced into what was the original series. So, for example, the beds dangling on the cave were not part of the original series. So it's interesting that they reference it in the game, and that's interesting because it's a way to get away with changing something in a story you already know. And then again, the art style, the direction of certain things, it's quirky, having these beds and
beneath a slumbering pile of teeth and claws was
Fabled mirror.
Oh, so you remember this part of the story.
Well, dragons are my favorite.
Do you want to tell this part?
Yes. King Edward sent me, the greatest knight in all of Daventry, on a quest to return his stolen mirror. A gigantic, hulking beast of a dragon was the last thing in my way to... My way to...
Add a shinier hat to my collection.
Yeah, so it's interesting how all these elements come together, and there'll be some diehard fans of the series who might not be happy, but I think it's a very interesting revival, and it looks good for what it's meant to be.
I tried to turn that crazy contraption, but it was missing a handle. Someone tampered with it, creating some silly conundrum.
And it's awesome. There's also some, very lovely animation details that are mingled with the 3D, and they just work really well.
Volumes of old books with foreboding titles clutter the shelves of that strange bedroom. How to Tame a Dragon, Breaking the Spirit of Hideous Beasts, Amateur Spells to Impress Your Friends with. No books about recovering missing handles, though.
And here it is. Here's the missing handle.
So, the missing handle was booby-trapped? What did you do?
Well, I used my cleverness to outsmart the trap. Then I used my cleverness to hide. Luckily, that half-blinded beast never noticed me in bed.
A dragon's eye must be really hard to pierce with an arrow. At archery lessons, I can barely hit a hay bale.
It is indeed a feat only for skilled archers.
So it's interesting because the way the story is told, it incorporates a lot of future elements that you'll be presented with. So it's really nice to play the game once and to come back later on and to notice all those small details. Um,
What did you use to fix the broken switch?
so it's really fun. The game.
Dragon's chains were coiled around a gigantic switch mounted to the cave wall.
The game is really good at introducing these elements and allowing for the game to be easy, accessible for younger audiences, but also enjoyable for like adults. Jesus Christ.
After he briefly basked in the sun, the narcoleptic dragon went back to snoring.
I probably sleep all day too, if Amira was my only friend.
And the music has that that levity as well, that almost sort of like Robert, I want to say Robert Zemeckis feel to it, but I can't, because I can't really remember right now the name of the composer who did these outstanding soundtracks for a lot of these amazing Zemeckis films. But it's the same guy who worked for who worked in Back to the Future, Roger Rabbit. And considering the fact that I'm such a film student that I can't actually remember right now, that name is gonna haunt me later on. But yeah, it's done a very nice job with the music. The art style is very interesting as well. Whoa, let's get in here. Now the action is very seamless. It's not quite like a lot of the Telltale games where you have like pauses to react. I think they've done a good job at making it very fluid, and that's great because if you're watching,
Whoever designed this trap thought they were pretty clever, but I would probably find a way to hit that unreachable switch.
yeah. So whoever however they designed it to be that fluid, if you're watching someone who knows what they're doing, it feels like a very almost cinematic experience. So he's paying his respects. All right, let's do this. Okay, let's go across this crappy... Oh. Oh. Excellent.
The mirror called out to me.